Today, we'll be learning how to make crystal-covered leaves. We'll also learn why leaves change color. For this, you'll need a few materials: measuring spoons and measuring cups, salt, warm water, scissors, a popsicle stick, a jar, paper plates and paper leaves, real green leaves, rubbing alcohol, plastic wrap, a bowl of water with a lid to cover it, coffee filters, and tape. Let's get started! First, take your paper leaf printouts. You can find any pictures of leaves you like online, or you can freehand it and draw whatever design you prefer yourself. Take your scissors and cut around the outside of each of these shapes. You can leave a lot of room like in the first example, or cut right up close to the edges like in the second. It's completely your decision. Make as many of these leaf shapes as you'd like to crystallize. Again, this is your project and will be your decorations, so choose whatever shapes and colors you prefer. Now take 1 cup of water and warm it up to a boiling point. You can either boil it over the stove or put your water into a microwavable cup and toss it into the microwave for approximately 2 minutes. Be careful, your cup will be hot once you pour the water in. After this, take your tablespoon measure and pour in 1 tablespoon of salt at a time. For the best results, we recommend adding approximately 3 tablespoons of salt for every 1 cup of water you use. After pouring in each tablespoon, make sure to stir it around so that the salt dissolves faster. Continuously stir the mixture until it appears that the salt has dissolved completely. Now, your mixture is done and ready to be poured right on top of your paper cutouts. The most crystals will develop on the bottom side of your paper. So, if you have a colored piece of paper that is only colored on one side, make sure to put that side face down. Once your leaves are slightly spaced out from one another, you're ready to pour in your mixture. Pour the water right on top of the leaves. Feel free to drain any excess water. This will allow your evaporation process to occur more quickly, as there will be less water that needs to evaporate on top of the leaves. Now, you just let them sit. The first day, it should look a little bit like this, covered in a thin sheet of water. And the second day, it should look similar to this. After you let them dry, peel them right off of the bottom. When you look closely, you'll see crystals that have formed all over the top. Now, you can use them for decorations. For our second experiment, we'll be examining how and why leaves change color. Let's get started. Start by taking your real leaves you've gathered from outside and breaking them into very small pieces. The smaller the pieces get, the easier it will be to take the color out of them. Therefore, try to break them into as tiny pieces as possible. Once you've finished, take your rubbing alcohol and pour in just enough to cover all of the leaves you gathered. Swish it around a little bit in order to make sure everything is covered completely. Now, take your plastic wrap and put it right over the top of this container. After you've completed this process with one type of leaf, we recommend using another type of leaf you gathered from outside to compare the results. Then, repeat the process you've done before, tearing the leaves into very small pieces, and then covering it with isopropyl alcohol. After this, set both containers, or as many as you have, into a larger container which has hot water inside. Once both jars are inside the larger container, put a lid on in order to keep the heat inside. Then, leave it for about 30 minutes, swishing the jar every once in a while to make sure the leaves get stirred around. Once the 30 minutes have passed, the alcohol should appear to be a very dark green color. If it's not to that level yet, leave it in the water a bit longer, possibly even up to 45 minutes or an hour. Once your alcohol appears at a very dark green color, you'll take your coffee filters. Cut a piece of the coffee filter so it's about 1/2 of an inch. You'll most likely need to cut the top down a bit if you use small jars like we did, but you'll need just enough to put the very tip into the bottom of the water. Also, take your pen and place it on top of the jars. You'll want to connect your coffee filter onto the top of the pen, allowing it to dangle into the jar into the alcohol. Repeat the process with the other jar. And after this, you'll let them sit for as long as necessary until you see the liquid travel up the coffee filter. Over time, as the alcohol begins to evaporate, you'll notice the colors will separate, showing you a spectrum of colors within the leaf. After allowing the bottom of your coffee filter to soak in the substance for approximately an hour, you should be able to see the separated shades of color ranging from dark to light green, and depending on what type of leaf you have, you should be able to see hues of yellows, oranges, and possibly reds. This is because the rubbing alcohol and energy produced from the heat of the water acted to break down the chlorophyll and separate the colors. Chlorophyll is the green pigment in leaves, and this green color is very dominant, which overpowers all of the other colors that coexist in the leaves. However, when the chlorophyll breaks down, such as it does in the fall season, it causes the other colors to appear, allowing us to see the vibrant yellows, oranges, and reds that we see in the leaves. While you're here, check out EPSCoR's website, or our Nature Sunday Academy page. When you do this activity, feel free to take pictures or videos and tag us at EPSCoR. Tell us all about your fun with STEM at home. Thanks for watching.